Hi, my name is Luis Fernandez, Director of the Dominguez Rancho Adobe Museum. And today I want to welcome you to our Earth Day event. You actually will see workshops on how to do composting at home, how to care for your roses. We'll also show the proper procedures to actually plant a tree. And we'll also showcase some of our greeneries in our 17 acres grounds that encompasses the Dominguez Rancho Adobe Museum, from our Cactus Garden, from our Rose Garden to California natives, from the plentiful and diverse trees and ecology that we have here in our grounds. So on behalf of the Dominguez Rancho Adobe Museum, I want to welcome you to Earth Day.
Hi, I'm Mike Haribe from Dominguez Rancho Adobe, and I'm going to demonstrate to you today the art of composting. Why composting? Because we're using an organic way of replenishing the earth so that we can have beautiful plants and help our world. 30% of our items in the refrigerator, believe it or not, we throw away. So we're going to use that, and it's going to benefit our plants in the garden. You're going to have healthier plants, you're going to be giving organic material to your plants, and you're going to help the immune system of those plants, as well as not having to pay for it, not having to go to the store and spending a lot of money on things that you have at home. So let's get started. First of all, what you need in a good compost pile is your greens. And these greens can be leaves or grass. I just mowed my lawn last night, and these are fresh lawn clippings. You also need the carbon, which are browns. Brown leaves, brown grass, anything that's brown that's dried up, that's what the microorganisms use to eat. And of course, from our kitchen, various vegetables and fruits. So here's what we want to do. This is the existing pile, and when we put our elements in, we want to do it lasagna style. We want to do it in stages or stacks. So there's your greens. There's your browns, your carbon. And then, of course, your vegetables. Now, I don't measure. Some people measure, but when you do it for a while, then it just becomes a common occurrence. And you just cover it. If you do it in your backyard, you want to cover it about a foot or so, because you don't want any vermin, mice, things like that, okay? Plus, when you cover it, you're going to capture the heat, because that's what really does the decomposition, is the heat. And there's 3 stages of heat that help the organisms. If you don't have this set up at your house, if you have an apartment or a patio, you can go to the hardware store and purchase a plastic container and drill holes all over the container and on the bottom using a 1/4 inch bit. And you use the same method, the lasagna method I call. Put your elements in there once or twice a week, lock it, and roll it. And that's all you do. It takes 5 minutes, and you're on your way. Now, stage 4 is the stage now where you want to sift it. Someone asked me, how do you know it's ready? Well, you can tell by the texture. Use your home trowel, you sift it using another 1/4-inch screen. Get all those big parts to the top. Throw the larger parts in the stage 1, and the finished element is what we call black gold, the compost. It's easy, it's inexpensive, and it's sustainable. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Rose Garden. My name is Carol Nelson and I'm a volunteer here. In the 1940s, Father Pat established the Rose Garden, and today we have over 300 rose bushes and 28 miniature roses. The original Rose Garden was primarily made up of hybrid tea roses, but today we have Floribunda, grandifloras, David Austin, and we have 2 historical roses donated by the Historical Rose Society. And in 2013, the volunteers took over the maintenance of the roses, and on Wednesdays we meet, we pull weeds, deadhead, which is cutting off the blossoms, and in January we meet once a year. We prune the roses, we fertilize, and then we add mulch. And then approximately 2 months later, the rose garden comes alive again, and we have beautiful roses, different colors, different shapes. This year we started a new program, and we're planting 20 new rose bushes a year. This year, the 2 new roses we planted was a stiletto, which is a hybrid tea. It isn't quite opened all the way yet. And we planted a State of Grace rose. That's a grandiflora, and it's a pretty apricot and pink. We also have a St. Patrick's Day rose. The St. Patrick's Day rose is a yellow rose, but underneath it's green. And the hotter it gets, the greener the rose underneath will get. The St. Patrick's Day rose and the brandy rose, they crossed it and they made the golden medal rose. They need to be nurtured and taken care of, I guess. I guess it's my motherly instinct that they need to be nurtured and taken care of. And they're all so different. They're beautiful colors. The petals are always different shapes. Some are like rippled on the edges, straight. They're all different. They feel like they give something back to me. When I take care of them, I feel like they're giving something back to me. I don't know, just a warm, lovely feeling. People can come and visit the Rose Garden and get that same warm feeling that I have. I'm sure you'll enjoy a tour here. Everyone is welcome. Hope to see you soon.
The rose is rightly called the Queen of Roses, with a myriad of colors, shapes, and sizes. The rose is the perfect companion for plants in your flower garden. It also can be used in floral arrangements and gifts. Here at the Dominguez Rancho Adobe Museum, our rose garden consists of 200 plus rose plants. We do annual pruning. One of the techniques for pruning your roses is be sure you get rid of the dead wood on your plants. You want to keep your plants tidy, for the upcoming year. So you would cut your dead wood out. You would prune your roses. Pruning your roses, again, you would cut on the angle of a 45 degree, 1/8 of an inch above the outside bud. Also, when you're pruning, you want to take away anything that's bigger than a pencil, less than a pencil. Things that are like sticks, you want to get rid of them. This is a size. You don't want to have these on your rose bushes. You would want to get rid of it. So, just we'll go over to that one. During the pruning of your roses, you may come across vigorous stalks that's coming up from the bud union of the rose itself. So you would go deep and you would take off the stragglers, or what we call suckers, and to help your rose plant. Also, you would tidy up your rose as you go along. And this is what you would be doing. Okay. All right. So, okay. During the springtime and the fall, you will know when your plants need to be pruned or deadhead, because for pruning, the leaves will be falling during the winter time or the dormancy time of the year. And that is usually around maybe December, January. And that's the time that you would want to prune your roses. So after you prune your roses and you look around, in a couple of months, you want your plants, your rose bush, to look like this. You have new leaves coming out. You're going to have new buds showing. You clean up the center of the bush itself. And this is where you're going to enjoy the blossom and the blooms of your rose.
Hi, I'm Mike Haribi. I'm here at the California Native Garden at the Dominguez Rancho Adobe. And we're going to talk about California natives this morning and see if it can be helpful to you. Now, you might ask, why California natives? And the reason why is because the California native plants naturally grow here in California. As you know, a lot of our plant material here in California is brought in from the East Coast and also from other parts of the world. And a lot of times they're difficult to grow here because of the water requirement of those plants. A California native grows here in California. It's acclimated to the climate for the wind, the heat, and the rain. So let's start with this first plant that we have here. This is the coral bells. And the coral bells, the unique feature of a coral bell is that it has different leaf color, from purple to green to rust. And that's the unique feature of this plant. As you can see, the flowers are insignificant. It's the leaf that attracts people to plant this in their garden. And they can plant this in the shade. So it's a nice shade plant with different colors, okay? So let's step on the other side, and I'm going to show you another California native, the wild lilac. And some people call that the California blue wild lilac. So let's step over there. Over here on my right is the ceanothus. The uniqueness about the ceanothus is it likes sandy, rocky soil. You don't necessarily have to put a lot of planter mix in this. In fact, you don't have to. Use a cactus mix when you're planting the ceanothus. The ceanothus, this is a ground cover. This is Yankee Point, and it's an excellent ground cover for your house. This has a blue spike flower, which is for every ceanothus except for the white. Some have white. Also, too, this is one variety. I'm going to show you another variety. So step over here. As you can see, this ceanothus has a different leaf altogether. It's a narrow leaf, unlike the Yankee point, and this grows a little taller. So if you want something against a wall or you want something taller, this is what you would use, this ceanothus. Now, if you want some color for your garden, let's step over here. As you can see, this is a yellow flower. This is called the monkey flower. And the monkey flower comes in different colors. It comes in a rusty color, an orange, a red, and we happen to have the yellow. This plant attracts butterflies because, as you know, the butterflies like the tubular flower where they can stick their beak in and extract the nectar. So this is the monkey flower. This is another example of the ceanothus, the green ceanothus, and this, as you can see, is hugging the ground. And so if you want ground cover, this is what you would use. The last California native on our tour is the Diamond Heights. This also is a ceanothus with the blue flower, but the difference is that it's a lime green leaf and green in the middle. So it's a little contrast for your garden if you want to lighten up your garden. This too has your blue spiked flowers. Now, all of these California natives, they like rocky, sandy soil. And once they're established, you probably only have to water it about once a month. So that means for you, less water, less fertilizer, less pesticides, and more importantly, more time for you. So these are the plants that you can get at your local nursery. So thank you very much.
Okay, hi, my name is Lorraine Depew. I'm a volunteer here at the Dominguez Adobe in the Cactus Garden. I come once a week and kind of keep the weeds back and cut out some of the old matter. It's an interesting place to visit. It's always a surprise. You never know what, if anything, is going to be blooming, and when it blooms, it is spectacular. There's a retirement home here for Claretian fathers, and one of the gentlemen who's the one who actually got the Adobe going, a historian, Father Pat Collin, decided he would like to see an area of the Adobe turned into a cactus garden. And with that in mind, he visited the monthly meeting of the Long Beach Cactus Club in 1974. And in response, 2 years later, 1976, they had the grand opening, and there is a plaque commemorating to one of the past presidents of that Long Beach Cactus Club that honors him and honors the garden. We call it a cactus garden. A cactus is a succulent, but only half of the plants we have here are actually cactus. The rest are things that are called aloe, agave, euphorbias. But we have quite a collection. The cactus will bloom off and on during the year. The agaves, which are from South America, when they grow, once they have a bloom, they actually die off. The aloes, which are from Africa, they can bloom off and on during the year, and they do not die in the process. So we have quite a variety. There is a guide available in the office when it is open, and it will give you the botanic name, the common name, what country the plant is from, and whether it's a cactus. There's a myrtle cactus that I like because it's kind of a blue-green color and makes it kind of different. And it's just kind of trippy to look at the Andes cactus because they're called the old man of the Andes, and it looks like white hairy fur on top. The hardest thing about the cactus, about identifying them, is you actually need to have a flower in order to tell what kind of cactus it is. And they don't flower all year round, so it's been a long process by beginning to identify what we do have. The firecracker cactus, I believe, is in bloom right now. have the Peruvian old lady, which is from the South Ecuador and Peru. It's an Espostoria. We have the Apuntia robusta. People call them Nepali. There's at least half a dozen of different genus. It's very satisfying to be out in the open in the clean, fresh air. And crazy as it may seem, I actually have a very long tweezers, you might say, that I picked up at the Cactus Club, and I just pick off the droppings from the trees and clean up and give a facelift to the cactus that we do have here, and it just feels good to have it look better after I've left than it was before I came. It's interesting. For me, it's kind of like the Grand Canyon. It was too awesome for me to appreciate the first time, but I needed to go back and revisit to appreciate it, and it's the same thing with our Cactus Garden. It's worth a simple little walkthrough. It's small enough that you're not going to wear yourself out, but there's always something going on, something to see, and as I said, you never tell when you might hit a bloom or not. And some of the things just bloom for a day or so, so you need to catch them there.
Hi, I'm Mike Haribi from the Dominguez Rancho Museum, and today we're going to demonstrate how to properly plant a tree. So as you know, when you plant trees in your landscape, you're doing a lot of good things for the environment because the trees provide a home, protection, and food for birds and other animals. And on the economy side, it increases the value of your home about 10%. And also because you have trees and shrubs around your house in the landscape, you're saving on energy, light bill. So there's a two-ploy benefit of trees. So let me show you the hole that we have here. We have a 5-gallon tree here. And when you normally plant the tree, you want to make the hole 3 times the width of the existing container, okay? This is about 34 inches. The container is about 11 inches wide. So I've made it 3 times the size of that. And also I've dug underneath the tree about 6 inches, and I've incorporated a mixture of organic material so that those roots on the bottom are able to blend inside the soil. And also the backfill that we're gonna do, we're gonna use today is 50% native soil and 50% organic matter. We have a mixture of planter mix, and fortunately we have the compost that we generate here at the Adobe. So I'm gonna mix that with the native soil, and then we're gonna backfill and hopefully have a real nice material for the tree in the future. So I've cut the sides so that I'm able just to break the container open without disturbing the roots. So I've already done that, so let's see how that works. Okay, so we've removed it from the container, and when you plant the tree, you want to plant it about 1 inch or 2 inches from the level of the soil so that you don't suffocate the tree itself. It's better to have a tree planted higher than lower, okay? So we have it in a good spot here, so there it is. And our backfill is going to be made of 50% native soil that we have here and 50% organic material, which is our compost that we generate here at the Adobe and planter mix that we purchased from your local nursery. So we're going to mix that up, and then we're going to backfill. This is pre-mixed, so I'm just going to backfill. And you cover the entire hole. So when you have this real nice backfill, you're giving the roots an opportunity to really grow out and absorb all the nutrients. You don't want a hard pan soil back into the hole. What you can do, and it's optional, you can rough up the edges of your hole. But once again, so those roots can embed themselves into the soil. So we've done that. We're going to add a few more shovelfuls. And for the sake of time, we're going to leave it there. But then I'm going to make, as a finishing touch, a berm around the tree so when you water, the water stays in there and doesn't flow out of the hole. So it's just real easy. You just make like a wall around the hole. And you want to make sure, check it every week for moisture. You want to make sure it doesn't dry up, and just check it once a week and give it a good watering. And I think that's about it. If you do those items, I think you're going to have successful tree planting. Thank you.